What is up? What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, South Carolina almost got. Ole Miss is floundering, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon. We got Champs Week that is here, and no one cares what your team is going through. You just got to win. You just got to win. QITM in the morning starts right now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
All right, ladies and gents, welcome to another edition of QITM in the morning. And guys, I got a lot to talk about, okay? There was a lot that happened. I always enjoy when the last game of the season features a whole bunch of games of consequence, and that's exactly what happened yesterday, as we saw teams still fighting for positions, right? It was a massive fight yesterday to control your own destiny in your respective conference tournaments. And then from there, the conference tournaments, you control your own destiny to be able to get to where you want to get to in the NCAA tournament in terms of your ranking. And then from there on, you, again, control your own destiny. That's what it's all about this time of year. And South Carolina, they're on top. We all know they're on top. But they did face a challenge yesterday against Kentucky. Kentucky, they're a really good team in both the SEC and the nation at large. And yesterday, Kentucky gave South Carolina the business. And in my opinion, actually, Kentucky had the game and then they lost it. Now, before we get to the last couple of seconds of the game, which to me, sealed the deal for South Carolina, let me kind of talk about real quick who played well in yesterday's game. And yesterday, it was all about the big women. That's what it was all about yesterday, right? Yeah, sure, guards are important there, whatever. But yesterday was the bigs' time to shine. And for South Carolina, Medina continues to show people that, hey, she actually could go to WNBA right now if she wanted to. There's a lot of talk about, Medina needs that additional year in college. I'm thinking maybe she doesn't. She looks pretty good to me. She knocked down another 3 yesterday. Ultimately had 21 points, another double-double for Medina, 13 rebounds for her. She was doing her thing. And then on the other end for Kentucky, you had the duo of Clara Strack and Tiana Key. And yeah, Tiana Key only had 6 points in this game, but in crucial moments, she was good. She was someone who could get a bucket, even though overall she was inefficient. She did hit some big time buckets at some important moments. But it was all about Clara Strack as the star for Kentucky. She's been doing it all year. This is someone who knows how to step up in SEC play. So far this season, she's averaging around 16 points per game. Yesterday, she beats her average with 24 points, and her team needed all of that. She was just 1 rebound shy of a double-double for Clara Strack. And to me, that was the game. The game was post-play, right? And then the guards were kind of ancillary types of things. And also, FYI, Joyce Edwards, ended up having almost a double-double as well. 9 points, 9 rebounds for South Carolina. But to me, the game ended. Well, number one, the fourth quarter was terrible for South Carolina. Number one, it was absolutely terrible. And because they struggled to score, I was like, oh, Kentucky is about to get South Carolina. I was like, oh my goodness, it's about to happen. And it almost did, guys. It almost did. With less than 15 seconds left to go, it was South Carolina up by 2 points, right? It was 58-56. we see Kentucky with the basketball. And the ball goes in to Tiani Key for a makeable bucket. It was like right there at the rim. I wouldn't consider it an actual layup. I mean, it was close enough, I guess. But it was right there at the basket. Like, right there. And yeah, it was contested. But Tiani Key misses. The bucket that could have tied the game and either, force South Carolina into like a situation where, they're trying to win the game, or you go to overtime. And she was right there, down by 2, just make the shot. And she misses. And I was just like, dang it, come on. Because how fun would it have been today for me to be like, South Carolina gets got? I think it would be fun. Especially going into the SEC tournament. I think that would have been huge. Now, would that have changed South Carolina's status as a top 4 team in the country? I don't think so. I think they still would be top 4. I think they still would be, that wouldn't change. They'd probably move to 4 instead of 2 or 3. But yeah, that's my thoughts there. I was waiting on it, but she missed it. And hey, almost doesn't count. Yes, as y'all are saying, almost doesn't count. Yeah. But that was fun though. That was fun. Kay says champion teams pull it off despite poor game performance. And yeah. South Carolina had a, in my opinion, really bad fourth quarter. But at the end of the day, they was able to get the dub against a really good team called Kentucky. So that was that game. Let's continue on in the SEC and talk about Ole Miss, because Ole Miss is cooked, y'all. Here's the thing. Do y'all remember? Do y'all remember that when Ole Miss played LSU, and after the game there was a bunch of back and forth on Twitter between Lane Kiffin and Coach Yo? Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember when that was happening? And because Lane was kind of like hyping up his new squad, which is LSU. And, they were doing a whole back and forth. Coach Yo pulled up the receipts of an old softball game and all that stuff, where she struck out Lane. And that was a funny ha moment on Twitter. But here's the thing, guys. You can be as active as you want on Twitter, but when it comes to put up or shut up time, people are going to point to your use of Twitter to be like, hey, what's going on with your team? Y'all looking a little bit distracted. Y'all looking like y'all are not ready to go. Now, here's the thing. Yes. Is Sierra Tinu out for Ole Miss? Yes. That sort of coincided at the same time, where Sierra Tinu is out, and that is a big deal. That's a big deal. Yes. Sierra Tinu is out. We all know this, Coach Yo. We all know this. However, you got Cody McMahon, Christina Walla, and Latasha Lattimore. No way you should be losing to Texas A&M. Like, come on now. It is a time for you to control your own destiny. You've been talking all year. And here's the thing. I'm a giant Coach Yo fan. Yeah, if y'all watch this channel, y'all know how big of a Coach Yo fan I am. I think she's a great coach with a great future, that if she ever leaves Ole Miss, she is getting the best of the best of the best of the best recruits. She makes the most of what she has at Ole Miss. But like, she goes somewhere else to a bigger market, she's killing. She's going to be killing. She's going to be a championship coach in probably within the next decade, for sure, for Coach Yo. Big fan of hers. However, you can't do all this talking and complaining and all this stuff about rankings and how the powers that be are not taking into account certain games and whatnot on whether or not you go up or go down and all this other stuff, and then you have a massive skid to end the season, right? You can't go on a back and forth with the new head football coach of LSU, and after that, your team doesn't win a game. You end the season with 4 losses. You got 5 losses in your last 6 games. You can be active on social media, but when you are and you start to lose, people point to that and be like, hey, you distracted. You distracted. And so all I'm saying is it is put up or shut up time. This is the best Ole Miss team Coach Yo has had in a long time. The best. Now, yes, Sarah Tinu is out. Sarah Tinu is a big deal, right? She is a big deal. Sarah Tinu going out is the same thing as like Eddie Brown going out for Iowa State and how they lost all those games and whatnot. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. However, I understand you losing to LSU. I understand you losing to South Carolina. I can even understand, not totally, but I can kind of understand you losing to Florida because you got Liv McGill who's going crazy. But Texas A&M, come on now. Come on. Your team is more talented than Texas A&M. They are. Now, not to be disrespectful, this is not me trying to be oh darn. I thought I had a graphic of darn it. I had a graphic of oh, here we go. Here it is. I found it. So, not to be disrespectful to Texas A&M, because Texas A&M is on a roll. Texas A&M is peaking at the right time. I still believe, even with this, even all that being said, I still believe Ole Miss should not have lost. Even with Sarah Tinu out. I get it. Sarah's amazing. She is. Big time player on your team. Big time rotation player. But you shouldn't have lost. Just saying. Anyway, with that being said, can we give a huge shout out to what Coach Joni Taylor is doing at Texas A&M? Because Texas A&M looked like they were done for. They started off conference play, I should say, in a not so good place. And it had a lot of people, myself included, wondering, what is the future of Texas A&M and their coaching situation? What's going on with the Aggies? What is going on with the Aggies? Joni Taylor was asking who counted us out. I counted y'all out. I did. But look at the results. You beat Bama. Right? You beat Auburn, which you're supposed to beat. You beat Tennessee. You beat Arkansas. You beat Mississippi State. And you beat Ole Miss. You in conference play for the SEC, beating 3 ranked opponents. What a time to be alive if you are an Aggies fan. And I just got to give a massive shout out to Texas A&M for not giving up. Right? For not giving up, for believing, even though they had a really, really rough start to conference play. They still believed in themselves. They got better and better and better. And finally, towards the end, we are able to see them reap the rewards of their hard work. And I just want to give them a shout out. I think that's awesome. Fantastic for Joni Taylor and Texas A&M. They are absolutely peaking at the right time. That's what you got to do. That's what you have to do. Yeah, FM says, fight, Joni, fight. Hey, fight. Man, y'all are looking great. Really, really great. Really great. 219 says, yeah, definitely the wrong time for Ole Miss to be losing. I'm going to wait until the SEC tournament to reserve judgment. Facts. Yeah. Yeah. Facts. El Kune says, I love Joni. Glad she's doing well right now. She's doing great. Well, Molly's saying Texas A&M is not a tournament team. Well, Texas A&M took down Bama. They took down Tennessee. They took down Ole Miss. I mean, look at these games. I'm just saying. Now, if you would have told me halfway through the season that is Texas A&M a tournament team, I would say no. But look at these massive games. It begs a conversation. Now we'll see how they do in the SEC tournament, but it definitely does beg a conversation to beat 3 ranked teams. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You can't rule it out. You can't rule out them being in the tournament. Because there will be some players in the tournament, some teams in the tournament who have not beaten 3 top 25 teams. I'm just saying. No, did Texas A&M knock off LSU or South Carolina? No. But look at who they did beat. Look at who they did beat. Yeah, I would have loved if Janiah Barker stayed there. I mean, she's gone everywhere. Janiah Barker is like that commercial. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. was an Aggie. Then went to UCLA. Now she's at Tennessee. And look at that. Look at how the Aggies are going. And speaking of Tennessee, we saw the battle for the state of Tennessee yesterday because, yes, Vanderbilt is in the state of Tennessee. Anyway, we saw Tennessee versus Vandy. And, guys, I got to tell you, number one, people will always be mad at Kim Caldwell for something. Okay? They will always have find a reason to be mad at her. I would say overall, I thought Tennessee played well. I thought they played well. I thought they played better than I was expecting, and they played good enough to have a legit shot of winning. Ultimately, they didn't because the third quarter was just a bit too abysmal for them. But yesterday, it was senior night in Tennessee. And here's the deal. I am of the belief that as a program, you either need to schedule a easier game or, regardless of what the score is, regardless of who you're playing, put in your seniors either to start the game, to start the second quarter, or with a couple seconds left in the fourth quarter, put your seniors in. That's personally my belief, is that you should do everything in your power. That if you have a senior on your team, you got to play him. You got to play him. And for Tennessee, Kim didn't do that. There were a lot of people on social media that was like, why would you do that? You have to play your seniors and yada, 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 yada. And they have a point. And also, fun fact, Wynn is from Tennessee. She's from Tennessee. And so, that is kind of a bummer that she didn't get any tick at all. And from what I understand, she was healthy. So, I don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is. I just say Don't schedule your senior night against a really good team. Schedule it against a not so great opponent. Or make it a priority to play the seniors regardless of the score. With that being said, Vanderbilt ended up taking down Tennessee. It was the likes of the usual suspects. Michaela Blakes and Aubrey Galvin. They just talk. They play all 40 minutes and they dominate, right? 34 points for Michaela Blakes, 24 points for Aubrey Galvin. This team is just, when those two players are on the court at the same time, Vandy looks fantastic. Now, I will say this. All of these 40-point games, all of them, they add up. Because y'all remember how USC rode with Juju like crazy, and then we see, boom, season-ending injury. Because all those minutes. And I got to say, that's a huge worry I have for Vandy. Because if anything happens to either Michaela or Aubrey, you're done. They had 58 points yesterday for Vandy. 58. Vandy only scored 87 points in this game. They scored 87 points, and two people played all 40 minutes and combined for 58 points. They had 10 of your three-point shots. This Vandy team is great. Shea Ralph is a really good coach. I loved hearing about how like Sasha Washington and Shea Ralph was like there throughout the whole thing, right? When going from year one of Shea Ralph's tenure at Vandy in 2021, right? Where they won their first game, to now winning 100 games just a couple of years later. Like, I loved hearing about that and all that good stuff. Like, yes, this team, they have a bond. They're good. But at the end of the day, they run on two players. Aubrey, and most importantly, Michaela. And if anything happens to them injury-wise, you're done for. And this is my worry about having players play 40 minutes a game. Now, do these players want to play? Yeah, absolutely. They want to be in the game. Shea Ralph has talked about it before. They want to be in, right? It's not like one of those things where she's forcing them to be in. They want to be in the game. But at the same time, you got to be like, hey, I know you want to be in, but we trying to win a championship. So I need you healthy. So anyway, there were some other SEC games that happened yesterday. We saw Texas take down Alabama 72-65. We also saw LSU take down Mississippi State. And Oklahoma had a way too close for comfort game against Missouri where they took them down 84-78. All right, moving on to the Big Ten, guys. We have UCLA versus USC. And here's the thing. I do appreciate when players leave a team and then they come back and they get like a warm welcome they play against a former team and they get like a warm welcome, warm reception from like the coaches and players and all that good stuff. And it looks like London Jones did get that. Which was pretty nice. But at the end of the day, it was remember guys, London Jones was at UCLA, transferred over to USC. That's what I'm referring to. But an interesting thing to note is that, not really interesting, is that UCLA is on top again. They finish off Big Ten play 18-0. They have not lost a game in conference play. They win the Big Ten regular season title with a 73-50 win over USC. There was nothing USC could really do. UCLA is a great team, right? They really are. And what makes them great is the fact that Charlize Leger-Walker is healthy, right? She's healthy and she's ready to play. And yesterday she was absolutely balling, 20 points for her. Gabriella Hawkes was doing her thing as well. 14 points for her. And also, like, fun fact, Gabriella Hawkins is still playing, she's still playing softball. And so, like, it's just kind of crazy how, like, UCLA has they have the softball players on their basketball team, which is kind of cool. Which is kind of cool. But anyway, it wasn't really much of an interesting game at all because UCLA easily trounced USC 73-70. But shout out to the undefeated in tournament play UCLA Bruins. We also saw Ohio State end the season on top. They were able to get a big win against Michigan State, a win that like definitely does hold some significant weight when we're thinking about the NCAA tournament and the top 16. In my opinion, Ohio State probably just solidified themselves that they're going to be in the top 16. If they would have lost, maybe there would have been some wiggle room or whatever. But anyway, big game for Jelani Cambridge. Surprise, surprise. This girl continues to do her thing. 7 threes, ultimately 33 points for Jelani. Her and her sister, because remember her sister is Kennedy. Her and her sister, they combined for 44 points for Ohio State yesterday. That's kind of cool. Now, I don't know what the stats are or whatever, but like you and your sister scoring 43 points. Not 44, 43 points. I think it's insane. I think it's kind of cool. Like that's lifetime memories. Lifetime memories. But anyway, Chance Gray also did her thing with 21 points as Ohio State took down the Spartans 87-68. We also saw Minnesota get a momentum win over Illinois. Here's the thing. Illinois is a good team. I've watched, probably because I'm in the state, but I've watched quite a bit of their games, and I continue to be very impressed with them. I think, again, in a couple years, this Illinois team is going to be pretty fire. But they did give Minnesota some huge work in yesterday's game, but ultimately Minnesota was able to get the dub 78-73. All right, moving on to the ACC. We just going real quick down the line. There was a bunch of games yesterday, and I was like, okay, I got to do a real quick deep dive. I'm not going to talk too much about each team, but we're going to talk just enough to get y'all what y'all need to know. And what y'all need to know about Notre Dame is Hannah time. It is Hannah time. We all know this. Hannah Hidalgo is an amazing player. However, this Notre Dame team has not been very good this year, right? They have kind of struggled, right? So much so that Notre Dame is not even ranked right now. But yesterday, Notre Dame gets a massive, and I mean massive, win over number 10, Louisville. And the funnest fact of this, it was at the Yum Center in Kentucky, right? So Louisville was at home. And boom, the Fighting Irish take them down. And of course, when we're talking about the Fighting Irish, we are, of course, talking about the likes of Hannah Hidalgo, who, once again, what she does is she puts her team on her back. She gets herself to the rim. She gets fouled. She makes her free throws. And she's just an impactful player. That's just what she does. She gets after it on defense. And Hannah helps the Fighting Irish get the dub over the Cards. 30 points for Hannah, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals. Dog. I get it. Yes. This Notre Dame team is not very good. But when we're thinking about some of the best players in the country, even though her team isn't good, she's still really good. So you still have to put Hannah in the conversation for everything, basically. And you want to know the funnest of facts? Did you know that Hannah Well, you all know this. Hannah's a shorty, right? She's 5'6". Short girl. Short. But did you know she's one of the best rebounding guards in the country? At 5'6". Or at least in the ACC and also when you look in the country. She is 5'6" and is averaging 6 rebounds a game. At 5'6". There's some players, quite a bit of players who are 6 foot and taller that don't average that. She's averaging 6 rebounds per game, 25 points per game, 5 steals per game, 5 assists per game, shooting 47% from the field. Hannah is continuing to be her. And her team got a massive upset against Louisville. So expect Louisville to drop a little bit in the rankings. This definitely hurt Louisville big time, this loss. Ronald says the Syracuse Orange. Shots to Syracuse, by the way. I'm a big fan of Felicia Leggett-Jack. She's the head coach of Syracuse. Anyway, Syracuse Orange held Hannah to 27 points, the only team to hold Hannah under 30 in the last 8 games. Yeah. That's because that's what Hannah does. In conference play, Hannah Hidalgo goes off. And also in conference play, Michaela Blakes goes off, which is why Michaela Blakes is my player of the year overall. Not just SEC player of the year, overall player of the year. Because, random fact, did you know Michaela Blakes has averaged 30 points per game throughout SEC conference play. Insane. Anyway, we're talking about Hannah right now. But yeah, Hannah's been fantastic. That is what she does. It is what she does. But yeah, dog. Anyway, let's move on. And let's talk about Duke because they end on top. They are the ACC regular season champs with a giant win yesterday. And I just really like this Duke team. And I like what they ended up being. They got what am I trying to say? North Carolina wins, but Duke still won the championship, the title, I should say. And I just love this Duke team. This is a squad that they make it happen. They are the regular season champs. A title that they actually split. And this is a year. I'm sorry, they didn't split it. They just won it totally. But this is a year where Duke had a really rough start to the season. And in conference play, they really got it together, only losing 2 games in conference play, including the game yesterday against North Carolina. And I just like it. I just like Duke. I like what they're doing. Now, yes, they did lose yesterday, but like overall, they are winning. Wins the ACC. Was going to head into the tournament ready to go. And who knows? Duke can be sneaky and make their way into the Sweet 16. All right. They can be very, very sneaky. Yeah, yeah. Duke went from the bottom to top 10. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of cool. It is kind of cool. K-Jack says, yeah, they lost, but Duke had the best record in the conference. Had Louisville won, they would have shared a piece of the title. Vincent says Duke has done well in the ACC, but outside of their conference, not so much. I mean, because here's the thing. most teams, with the exception of UConn, they play the non-conference schedule the first half of the year, and the second half is only conference. And so Duke hasn't, since they got their act together, they haven't played anybody outside their conference. And so so they had a terrible start to the season, but as the season has gone on, they're looking great. They're looking great. Yeah, but Maryland, it really is injuries, dog. Injuries. But again, no one cares. No one cares if you're injured. You got to win. And then finally, we got Madison Square UConn. As UConn played St. John's yesterday at Madison Square Garden, and of course dominated the competition. Not a big deal with the win, but it's kind of cool to see them at Madison Square Garden. So call it Madison Square UConn from now on. Okay, UConn of course is undefeated in conference and non-conference play. They are the team that has not lost a game at all. They're fully undefeated, and they are ready to try to get another championship. They won last year. They're trying to go back to back, and so we'll see. We will see what happens. Store South, yes, we'll see what happens. All right, now let's move on to Champs Week. Just wanted to make sure you all saw the schedule. The schedules is out for the Big Ten, for the ACC, for the SEC, for the Big 12. We're just going to go through it real quick. We're going to go through it. For the Big Ten, the top 4 teams have a bye to the third round. And so that is UCLA, Minnesota, Iowa, and Michigan. Here's the thing. I fully expect UCLA to win. I fully expect them to win. If they don't win, I'll be surprised. But so far, they've been undefeated in Big Ten play. I don't see that stopping anytime soon. When it comes to Iowa versus Michigan, I'm gonna say Iowa. We're probably going to see Iowa in the championship game for the Big Ten tournament. It'll be Iowa versus UCLA. UCLA will win. Those are my thoughts right there. We'll see. We will see what happens. Because the reason why I don't say Michigan is because Michigan is very wishy-washy to me. And I feel like Iowa is more stable because their biggest strength is in their post. Whereas Michigan, in a lot of ways, it just depends on if Sila's on. It depends on if Sila's on. Olivia Olsen's always going to do her thing, but like it just sort of depends. And if I'm banking on either post play to be there and show up, or guard play to be there and showed up, I'm going post play all the time. And so I'm going Ava Hayden and Hannah Stokey. So Iowa over Michigan if they end up going against each other in the fourth round. And then Iowa versus UCLA in the championship game. That's what I think. But let me know. Let me know what y'all think. All right. And then for the SEC, this is how everything shakes out. Again, similar structure to the Big Ten, where the top 4 teams end up going all the way to the third round, the quarterfinals, where South Carolina, LSU, Vandy, and Texas are there. Ultimately, I do think that South Carolina's probably going to win the whole thing. If they don't, I'll be surprised. But here's the thing. This is an opportunity where you control your own destiny. Ole Miss has floundered their way into the postseason. If Ole Miss wants to get really good positioning and sniff a chance to host, which at this point they're like, it's a big question mark on whether or not they're able to host now because of the losses that they've had. But this is where they could put their destiny in their own hands. If Ole Miss is able to take down Vandy in the quarterfinals, maybe there's a chance for them in the top 16. Maybe. So if I'm Coach Yo, I'm looking at this tournament and I'm saying, hey, we got to give it all we got because we need to not only beat either Texas or Auburn, which Texas A&M or Auburn, which most likely you're going to face Texas A&M, the team that you just lost to, in the second round. So you need to beat them. They need to go beat Vandy in the quarterfinals. And then you need to be able to possibly take down Texas in the semifinals. And then, well, actually, no, probably if you just beat Vandy, that should probably be good enough to get in the top 16. We'll see. But yeah, I think that's going to be a big thing. But anyway, ultimately, here's what I think is going to happen. Ole Miss has to show up. Will they? I don't know. I think they're still in their sad skid. Ultimately, South Carolina will be in the championship game for the SEC, and they're either playing Vandy or they're playing Texas. We'll see what happens, man. We will see what happens, but because it's in South Carolina, South Carolina's winning the whole thing. Not only because they're the best team in the SEC, but also fan support. It's a big deal. And then in the ACC, it's a bit of a question mark. I don't know. Yeah, Duke is the best team in the ACC, but I don't necessarily see Duke winning the whole thing. I don't know. I think it's a question mark. I think it's a question mark. I'm probably putting Louisville in to win the whole thing. Probably. Yeah, this is one where, like, for Big Ten and SEC, I'm saying, yeah, the best team in the conference is going to win the whole thing. For the ACC, I don't see Duke winning. I don't see them winning it. I see Louisville most likely winning it. We'll see. I think that'll be kind of fun. And then for the Big 12, that's going to be a fun battle because the Big 12 is a huge question mark for me. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think any of these teams can win. I think we could either see TCU win the whole thing. We could see West Virginia win the whole thing. We could even see Texas Tech win the whole thing. It's a big question mark. Giant question mark for the Big 12. I have no idea what's going to happen for that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, dog. What do y'all got? Who y'all got for the Big 12? I don't think it's a dead set for TCU. I don't. I may be one of the rare ones who say that. But it could be anybody. I don't see it being Oklahoma State. I don't think it's going to be Oklahoma State. But I could see TCU. I could see Texas Tech. I could see Baylor getting their act together and win the whole thing. I could see, and I could see that could happen. I don't see West Virginia, or excuse me, I don't see West Virginia winning the whole thing. But I don't know. I think, the Big 12 is a question mark for me. They're a big question mark. And finally, we get to the last thing that I want to say. With all of these teams, the thing everybody needs to be reminded is no one feels bad for you. No one cares. No one cares the injuries that your team is dealing with. No one cares about the schedule that you've had to play. No one cares. No one cares about how you were this season, like how you played this season. Doesn't matter how many big time wins you had this season. All that matters is the here and now. That's what matters. It matters what you do this week, starting on Wednesday. It's Champions Week, right? This is the time where teams are trying to impress the committee to be ranked in a very particular position when it comes to the NCAA tournament. We'll find out who the top 16 teams are, the actual top 16 teams are this upcoming weekend. And in order to get put in that list or get taken out of that list, it depends on what you do in this tournament. No one cares. No one feels bad. It's put up or shut up time. It is put up or shut up time, because at the end of the day, you want to be UConn. You want to be holding a trophy at the end. This is your moment to control your own destiny. And who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't want to control their own destiny? To decide how far you go. That's what it's all about. That's what it's about. It's not about, oh, we had a good year. No. It's about, how do you finish? Because the ending determines how people talk about you from years in the future. No one totally cares what you did in the regular season. What matters is postseason. What matters is your conference tournament. What matters is where you get placed in the NCAA tournament and what you do with what you're dealt with. You can't control injuries. They happen. You can't control the schedule. It is what it is. No one feels bad for you. It's time to put up or shut up. And let's play some really awesome women's basketball. Because this is the moment everybody cares about. People ignore the whole regular season and they join in specifically for this. I can't wait. I'm excited about it. I hope y'all are excited about it as well. All right, guys, that is the show. Thank y'all so much for watching. Chicago Cheetah says, can't wait for the conference tournament. I can't wait either. I'm excited. I have taken off of work and I will be covering these games live. And so I'm excited to watch them with you all. So again, thank y'all so much for watching. If y'all could, please make sure to hit that like button. It really does help the channel out a whole lot. Okay. And get ready to be sick of me, because yeah, we about to have a lot of fun. All right. And with that being said, I got to find my outro. And yeah, see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set, go.